Here's the question from the real test. Some of you might find this question tricky, but regardless of whether you can solve this or not on your own, you will be excited to learn the solution to this real-life assessment test question. What word can you form using all the letters in the box? And you're presented with 9 letters on the left. Do you think you know the answer? Now might be a good time to pause this video to see if you can come up with the solution on your own. Did you come up with the answer? Let's continue to see how we can solve this challenge and get to the correct solution together. Obviously, there are many words that can be formed with the given letters. But the best word and the correct word would be the one that contains all the letters. To answer this question, you need to think of the sequence. Start with the corners and explore possible answers. For example, if you start in the bottom right corner, you can follow the word nutrition, N-U-T-R-I-T-I-O-N. And that's the correct answer to this question. Hopefully you've nailed it and now know how to answer these types of questions in the test. Here is the tricky question from the real test, but somehow I have a feeling that you might come up with the answer on your own. Which of the following triangles comes next in this sequence? You have 5 triangles, one is missing, and the one that's missing is in the middle. And you have 4 different choices, A, B, C, and D, of 4 possible triangles that you can fit into this middle spot. Do you think you know the answer? Now might be a good time to pause this video to see if you can come up with the answer on your own. Did you come up with the answer? Let's continue to see how we can solve this challenge and get to the correct solution together. Before I reveal the answer, I would like to point a couple patterns for you here. The first one is pattern of colors. This one the easiest to understand. So you have a pattern of black, white, missing black and white again. The next pattern here, you have triangles pointing up and down, up and down. And the next pattern you have here is pattern of the small shapes inside the triangle. You have moon and star, and then moon and star, all in the different places inside the triangle. Do you think these tips helped you? Hopefully they did, and now you know the answer, or at least have some ideas. Now let's jump to the solution. The key to answering this question would be the pattern of smaller shapes inside the triangle. If you see, the star moves to the next corner in the next triangle. It moves from the first one to the second one, and then from the second one to the fourth one, and then from the fourth one to the fifth one. So now we need to find the triangle that has the star in the bottom right corner. You see that the only triangles that match this pattern would be choices A and B. And this is where the pattern of colors comes in to help us. If we imagine that there is a bigger pattern of colors where you have black, white, gray, and gray triangles may not be represented in the picture yet, we can see that the choice A makes sense because this would be adding a gray triangle into the pattern of black and white triangles. This is why the correct answer here is choice A. Let's recap. The reason choice A is the correct choice because it matches the pattern of colors, it matches the pattern of smaller shapes, and it also matches the pattern of pointing up in the triangles. This is really confusing question, and hopefully now you know how to answer similar questions in the test. Here's the interesting question from the real test, which has some catch. Count the number of straight lines, and you have 4 different choices. Choice A, 12, choice B, 9, choice C, 16, and choice D, 13. Do you think you know the answer? Let's see if we can come up with the solution together. The correct answer is 13, but let's see how we can get to the correct answer. One of the keys here and one of the tricks that they use is that outside shape, outside square, also has lines. So it's not just the hexagon inside the square, it's also the square on the outside that has lines that need to be counted. So let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Hopefully you've nailed this question and now know how to answer similar questions in the test. Here's the tricky question from the real test, but somehow I have a feeling that you might come up with the answer. determine the missing numbers, and you have a square which has 9 numbers, and 3 out of 9 numbers are missing. And you have 4 different choices. Choice A, 1, 2, 3. Choice B, 5, 7, 9. Choice C, 5, 8, 3. And choice D, 4, 9, and 6. Do you think you know the answer? Now might be the right time to pause this video to see if you can come up with the answer on your own. Did you come up with the answer? Let's continue to see if we can solve this challenge and get to the correct solution together. There are a couple things going on with this square. First of all presented numbers are unique. You can just determine the missing numbers by finding the numbers that are not presented yet on the square. Second pattern that we see here is that all the numbers horizontally and vertically add up to the same number, and this number is 15. For example, based on the numbers already known, 2 plus 9 plus 4 is 15, 2 plus 7 plus 6 is 15. So you can pick the numbers based on this knowledge and find the missing numbers based on uniqueness and put them in the right places based on the second pattern that we see. Funny thing is, you also see that diagonally, numbers also add up to 15. 2 plus 5 plus 8 is 15, and then 4 plus 5 plus 6 is also 15. So the correct answer here is choice C. And the missing numbers are 5, 3, and 8. Hopefully you've nailed this question on your own, or if you didn't, learned how to answer similar questions in the test. But in case you need more questions or practice problems, please make sure to check out my ebook in the description section of this video. The question here is quite tricky, but I would like to show you the solution, which, as you will see, is quite simple. The shaded part of the shade, follow the order. Find out what is the missing part of the square, and you're presented with the 3 by 3 square. And one box inside the square on the lower part in the middle is missing. You need to pick a replacement square out of 4 possible choices. Choice A, B, C, and D. Do you think you know the answer? Now might be a good time to pause the video to see if you can come up with the solution on your own. Do you think you know the answer? Let's continue to see how we can solve this challenge together and get to the correct solution. As usual, to solve these types of questions, you need to look at the sequence. And sequence is determined by where inside dark triangle connects to the inside walls of the rectangle. So for example, if you look at the left and middle line, this is where the sequence is. You see that it starts with upper left, so we have upper connection and then left connection. Then goes to lower right, so we have lower connection and then right connection. Then goes to upper right, and then goes to lower left. And then this is the missing box, where we need to find the missing square. And you see that the pattern here restarts. Upper left was the first item in the sequence. So the next item in the sequence would be upper left again. So the correct choice here is choice A, upper left. Hopefully you've nailed this question. Some of you might find this question tricky, but regardless of whether you can solve it or not on your own, you will be excited to learn the solution to this real-life assessment test question. Which of the following letters does not belong to the group? And you have 5 different choices. Choice A, letter P. Choice B, letter T. Choice C, letter B. Choice D, letter J. And choice E, letter G. Do you think you know the answer? Now might be a good time to pause this video to see if you can come up with the answer on your own. Let's continue to see if we can solve this challenge and get to the solution together. Before we jump to the solution, I would like to give you a clue. Always look for patterns. And the pattern here might be sharp edges versus rounded areas for the letters. Now let's go ahead and jump to the solution. When you look at the patterns, you can notice the similarities in the letters for the given choices. All letters are a combination of the curve as well as straight line, with the exception of one. The letters P, B, J, and G presented here, they all have combination of curve as well as straight line. The only letter that does not match this pattern is letter T. So the correct choice here is choice B, letter T. Hopefully you've nailed this question. And now, here's the question from the real test you can try to solve on your own. Please make sure to post your answer in the comment section of this video so I can give you my feedback. Determine which two numbers come next in this sequence. You're presented with the sequence of numbers 5, 5, 10, 15, 25, and then two missing numbers. You need to pick out of 4 possible choices for the next two numbers. Choice A, 30, 35. Choice B, 35 and 40. Choice C, 40 and 65. And choice D, 75 and 95. Now might be a good time to pause this video and try to solve this challenge on your own. And if you have figured out the answer, feel free to post it in the comment section of this video so I can give you my feedback. Thanks for participating. This question is quite tricky, but I would like to show you the solution so we can solve this interesting and tricky question together. Which shape does not belong to the group? And you have 4 choices of shapes. Do you think you know the answer? Now might be a good time to pause this video to see if you can come up with the answer on your own. Did you come up with the answer? Let's continue and see how we can solve this challenge and get to the solution together. In this case, shapes can be grouped by number of sides in the shape. For example, you see that all the shapes in the left have 6 sides. If you count the sides, for example, in this shape, you will see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Same with the hexagon, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And same with the arrow, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the correct answer here is choice A for the pentagon, which only has 5 sides, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hopefully you've nailed this question and answered it correctly, and now know how to answer similar questions and problems on the test. Some of you might find this question tricky, but regardless of whether you can solve it on your own or not, you will be excited to learn the solution to this real live assessment test question. Find the missing number by imagining how the clock's handle rotates. The start of the sequence will be at 9 o'clock and it ends in the middle. You have 4 different choices. Choice A, 28. Choice B, 42. Choice C, 14. And choice D, 44. Do you think you know the answer? Now might be a good time to pause this video to see if you can come up with the answer on your own. Did you come up with the answer? Let's continue to see if we can solve this challenge and get to the correct solution together. Before we jump to the solution, I want to pinpoint the sequence. The start of the sequence is at 9 o'clock with the number 9. The next number would be 16. Next would be 23, 30, 37, then missing number, and then 51. Now let's jump to the solution. As I already mentioned, we are presented with the clockwise sequence. Following this sequence, we can calculate the difference between the next number and the previous number. For example, in case of 9 and 16, the difference would be 16 minus 9, 7. To calculate the next number, we can also do the difference by subtracting 16 from 23. This is also 7. This makes us think that the sequence might be incrementing next number by 7. If we follow the sequence, we can confirm that that's exactly the case. 23 plus 7 is 30, 30 plus 7 is 37, so the next number that we will calculate would be 37 plus 7, which would be equal 44, which is one of the choices. Let's reaffirm that our calculation is correct by adding 7 to 44. 44 plus 7 is 51, so that's the next number in the center. So the correct answer here is choice D, 44. Hopefully you answered this question correctly, but in case you need more questions or practice problems, please make sure to check out my ebook in the description of this video. Here's the question from the real test you can try to solve on your own. Please make sure to post your answer in the comment section of this video so I can give you my feedback. Determine 2 numbers that come next in the sequence. And you have series of numbers 3, 9, 27, and then 4 different choices. Choice A, 81, 243. Choice B, 64, 126. Choice C, 72, 265. And choice D, 55 and 729. Feel free to pause this video and try to solve this challenge now. And if you figured out the answer, feel free to post it in the comment section of this video so I can give you my feedback. Thanks for participating. Let's look at the very interesting and at the same time tricky question you might frequently see on the test. This particular question tests your imagination as well as the knowledge of the English words. What word can you form using all the letters in the box? And you have 9 unique letters presented in 9 different boxes. Do you think you know the answer? Before we jump to the solution, this might be the right time for you to pause this video to see if you can come up with the solution on your own. Do you think you figured out the answer? Let's continue to see if we can solve this challenge together. Obviously, there are a lot of different words that could be formed with the given letters. But what you need to do as part of the test is to find the word that best matches all the letters presented. You should start looking in the corners, and in this case, the pattern is counterclockwise. We have the word strategic, which is formed starting in the bottom left corner. If you start in the bottom left corner and then flow from right to left, then flow from bottom to the top, from left to right, and then end your word in the middle, you will form the word strategic. Hopefully you've nailed this question, but in case you need more questions or practice problems, please make sure to check out the Aptitude test book in the description section of this video. Are you ready for this challenging problem? Let's look at the very interesting and tricky question you might frequently see on the test. Which expression does not belong to the group? And you have 4 different expressions. Choice A, 8 plus 4 equals 12. Choice B, 8 plus 6 equals 14. Choice C, 9 plus 8 equals 17. And choice D, 6 plus 12 equals 18. Do you think you know the answer? Now might be the right time for you to pause the video to see if you can come up with the answer on your own. Do you think you know the answer? Let's continue to see if we can solve this challenge together. What's interesting about this question is the fact that we're dealing here with odd versus even numbers. You see that expression A has all the even numbers, 8 and 4 equals 12. Expression B is the same thing, 8 plus 6 is 14, all even numbers. Same with expression D, 6 plus 12 equals 18. So the expression C has 2 odd numbers, 9 and 17. And if you look at the answers, you can also figure it out by just looking at the answer. The answers are 12, 14, and 18 for solutions A, B, and D. And for the C, the answer is 17. So let's recap. All numbers and sums of the expression are even numbers with the exception of one. 12, 14, and 18 are even numbers, but 17 is the odd number. So the correct answer here is choice C, 17. Hopefully you've nailed this question and got to the correct answer on your own. But in case you need more questions or practice problems, please make sure to check out the description of this video for my Aptitude Test Questions PDF ebook. Here's the tricky IQ and Aptitude test question you might frequently see on the test. Imagine a 4x6 shape with gray squares on the inside and white squares on the outside. It was broken into 2x2 shapes, and 3 of the shapes shown belong to the larger shape and 1 doesn't. Which one does not belong to the group? Do you think you know the answer? Now might be the right time to pause this video to see if you can come up with the answer on your own. Do you think you came up with the answer? Let's continue to see if we can solve this challenge together. As you might be well aware, a visual is worth 1,000 words or more. In this case, this is the shape 4x6 shape with the gray boxes on the inside and the white boxes on the outside, and it was broken down into 2x2 shapes. If we go back to the question, you see that the choice A is represented right here if you flip the box in the bottom right corner of the screen. Choices B are in the opposite corners, and choices D are in the middle. But what you see is that choice C is not represented here anywhere. So the correct answer here is choice C. Let's recap. The large shape is depicted right here, where gray boxes are on the inside and the white boxes are on the outside of the larger shape. The shaded part of 3 boxes can form a shape using few turns, but still stay inside the larger shape. This is why choices A, B, and D are valid choices, and choice C is the correct choice, and this is the one you should be selecting. Hopefully you've nailed this question and answered it correctly. But in case you need more questions or practice problems, please make sure to check out my aptitude test question books in the description of this video. And now, here's the question from the real test. You can try to see if you can get to the correct answer. Once you merge two objects below, what type of figure can you imagine? And you have 4 different choices: chart, shape, graph, or point. Do you think you know the answer? Feel free to pause this video now and try to solve this challenge. And if you figured out the answer, feel free to post it in the comment section of this video so I can give you my feedback. Thanks for participating. Here's the interesting and tricky question from the real test. But somehow, I have a feeling that you might come up with the answer on your own. Which of the following comes next in this sequence? You have a sequence of 4 shapes displayed, and 5th shape was the question mark, which you need to pick out of 4 different choices presented. So choice A, lightning, choice B, sand clock, choice C, hexagon, and choice D, cube. Do you think you know the answer? Let's see if we can come up with the answer together. Before we jump to the answer, I want to pinpoint 2 patterns. One pattern is changing color. The first shape is black, next is gray. Black, gray. So the next one in the sequence would be black, which limits the number of possible choices to A and B. Did this tip help you? Now might be a good time to pause this video to see if you can come up with the answer on your own. Did you come up with the answer? Let's continue and get to the correct solution together. In addition to changing color pattern, there is also a pattern of straight lines. You can see that shape 1 has 2 straight lines on top and the bottom. Triangle has 3 straight lines. Then the next shape has 4 straight lines. The following shape has 5 straight lines. So our next shape in the pattern should be black and also should have 6 straight lines. So the correct choice here is choice B, sand clock. Hopefully you've nailed this question on your own, or if you didn't, learned how you can answer similar questions on the test. Let's look at the interesting and tricky question from the real test. Somehow I have a feeling that you might be able to come up with the answer. Which statement is different from the others? And you're presented with 4 different statements. I am on the moon. 9 plus 8 equals 16. Roses are sky blue. Theories are sweet. Do you think you know the answer? Can you pick the correct answer out of the 4 choices presented? Now might be a good time to pause this video to see if you can come up with the answer on your own. Did you come up with the answer? Let's continue to see if we can solve this challenge and get to the correct solution together. As usual, we would need to find pattern in all the statements presented. In this case, the pattern is that the statement has true or false answer. So in case of 3 statements on the left, for example, I am on the moon, it can be answered true or false. Statement 9 plus 8 equals 16 is true, and roses are sky blue is also true. What is interesting, when I was doing research in this question, I found blue roses. If you don't believe me that roses can be blue, you can do a Google search to confirm that. If you type blue roses image and search in Google, you see a lot of examples of blue roses. This way, we've identified that the 3rd statement presented, which is theories are sweet, cannot be answered either true or false. This is why this statement stands out. So the correct choice here is answer D, theories are sweet. Hopefully you've answered this question correctly, but in case you need more questions or practice problems, please make sure to check out my ebook in the description section of this video. And now, here's the question from the real test you can try to see how well you will do. Baker received 40 orders of the cakes, and it took him 45 minutes to bake and decorate 1/4 of the orders. How many cakes can be done in 1 hour and 30 minutes? You have 4 different choices. Choice A, 10 cakes. Choice B, 20 cakes. Choice C, 30 cakes. Or choice D, 40 cakes. Feel free to pause this video to try to solve this challenge now. And if you have figured out the answer, feel free to post it in the comment section of this video so I can give you my feedback. Thanks for participating. Let's look at the interesting and tricky question you frequently see on the test. Which number is different from the other numbers? And you have 4 different choices. Choice A, 324, choice B 169, choice C 225, and choice D 352. Do you think you know the answer? Now might be a good time for you to pause the video to see if you can come up with the answer on your own. Did you come up with the answer? Let's see if we can get to the solution together. As usual, to get to the answer, you need to determine the pattern and understand which three numbers match the pattern and which one number does not belong to the pattern. In this case, the pattern is square root. All numbers here, you can see that three numbers listed here are a perfect square root. A square root of 324 is 18, a square root of 169 is 13, and square root of 225 is 15. In this case, 352 is not a perfect square root, so the correct answer here is choice D, 352. Hopefully you've nailed this question, but in case you need to practice more, please make sure to check out my ebook in the description section of this video. Thanks for watching. I encourage you to check out our daily question challenge in the community section of this channel. I also recommend that you check downloads in the description section of this video. Please also check out resources page on our website, howtoanalyzedata.net/resources. If you like the content, please give this video a big thumbs up. This tells us that you need more content like this. I would encourage you to share this video with other people that might be looking for the job. This will help them to get prepared and pass assessment test faster. Please consider subscribing and following this channel. We have a community of great people helping each other to get ready and pass the test. Please leave questions, comments, or suggestions in the comment section of this video. And all the best